We're coming to you live from our Auckland Park studios. This is Prime News on SABC 3. Here are the top stories making headlines this evening.
The war is going to end. When it ends, I can't tell you, but the war is going to end.
In Washington, U.S. President Donald Trump is currently meeting with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelenskyy alongside key European leaders in a high-stakes diplomatic effort.
They have given an expression of interest to buy the plant. We're working with IDC to look for a strategic partner.
NUMSA has reached a settlement with Goodyear tires for over 900 workers that have lost their jobs.
The suspects made away with an undisclosed amount of money, but there were no injuries reported.
And police in KwaZulu-Natal have launched a manhunt for an unknown number of suspects following two separate cash and transit heists. Good evening, South Africa. Happy Monday. Great to be in your company this evening. I am Paulette. Now, this is Prime News on 3. Let's jump straight into it. Let's begin here tonight. Political parties agree that Lieutenant General Trump-Zelenskyy should be the first person to appear before the ad hoc committee which was established following his allegations of rot and corruption within the South African Police Service. Zelenskyy made these allegations in July, implicating politicians and high-ranking SAPS officials as well as Minister Mzansi, who has been placed on special leave. The committee has to look into these wide-ranging allegations on threats to national security in the country. It has to present its report to the National Assembly on the 31st of October. But judging by the pace at which MPs were going through the drafted terms of reference today, some expressed a doubt that the committee will make its deadline.
The committee was scheduled to sit for 3 hours. However, it sat until much later than expected. Some discussions, such as how the committee will deal with classified documents, were sticking points, raising concerns about timelines.
If I look at the time that we're on today already, and we haven't even finalized these terms of reference, I mean, I don't think I'm the only one that foresees that we may not finish or complete this investigation by the end of October.
Committee Chairperson Molapi Lekhanyane is aware that this could be the case.
I think at some stage, if the committee runs over the period that would have been decided by the National Assembly, we can at that stage make a decision whether we want to release an updated report.
As for how it will handle classified information, Parliament's legal team advised that the National Assembly already has a protocol in place, and this will be used when it comes to dealing with this sensitive information.
The documents are placed in a safe set aside for this purpose, equipped with 2 different locks. The Speaker or her nominee and the Secretary of Parliament or his nominee ensure the safekeeping of the safe keys and its contents.
All parties did, however, agree that the KZN Police Chief Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi should be the first witness before them. The issue of safety of witnesses was also raised, and it was agreed that all efforts should be made to ensure their safety. The committee now needs to draw up and adopt a draft program, and only then will the actual inquiry into the allegations begin. Concern has already been raised about the logistics and planning needed to get to that point. Abra Barbia, SABC News, Parliament.
Right, to this now, the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa has reached a settlement with Goodyear tires for over 900 workers that have lost their jobs. The employees are set to get a lump sum severance package coupled with non-financial benefits starting from about 100,000 rand. 64 workers who have been at the company for more than 26 years or more will get an average payout of around 1 million rand. NUMSA has also announced that it will explore options to attract a new investor to the area in an attempt to mitigate devastating job losses and their impact on the local community.
Goodyear Tires announced 2 months ago that it was transforming its go-to-market strategy in the Europe, Middle East and Africa region to optimize its footprint and portfolio. This would lead to a marathon of talks to try and save jobs and negotiate a better settlement for workers that have been with the company in Kariga for years. NUMSA's General Secretary Evan Jim gave an update on the talks at the CCMA.
There are 552 NUMSA members at Kariga plant. Out of this number, 355 members, or about 65%, would get an average of 500,000. NUMSA members with 0 to 5 years of service will get a severance package that will take them to 234,000. 64 of NUMSA members who have 26 years of more service years will get an average package of 1 million. NUMSA also succeeded to push Goodyear to agree that 17 workers that were on fixed-term contract must also benefit from this negotiated package.
The company has been part of the rich history for the people of Kariga with 75 years, employing family generations. Now NUMSA has set aside 2 months working with the Industrial Development Corporation to find a new investor to replace Goodyear Tire in Kariga.
They have given an expression of interest to buy the plant. We're working with IDC to look for a strategic partner, given Goodyear clear stance that they will not allow us to use their IP, their technology to continue to manufacture tires.
The union is hopeful that a new strategic partner to take over the Goodyear's Kariga manufacturing plant would be secured in 2 months through the IDC. SABC News in Newtown, Johannesburg.
The Gauteng government has announced the measures to prevent violence between e-hailing and minibus taxi drivers. It says a multi-stakeholder team has been established to find a common ground and ensure the safety of commuters and operators. This comes after the fatal shooting of 27-year-old e-hailing driver Mthokozisi Mvelase outside Maponya Mall last week Wednesday evening.
Efforts to ensure lasting peace and stability at Maponya Mall are going full steam ahead after last week's violence. It's alleged that minibus taxi drivers are behind Mvelase's killing and the torching of 2 e-hailing vehicles.
We now have a team that will deal with what happened on Wednesday last week in Maponya, and this is a team that includes everyone, government, the e-hailers themselves, taxi associations, and the center manager. So we are confident that whatever happened will not happen again.
While the minibus taxi industry has distanced itself from the violent incident, the National Taxi Alliance has welcomed the decision to do away with illegal operators.
There are young guys who actually tout unsuspecting people who are seen carrying heavily on their hands. They are actually being asked if they are in need of transport, and obviously they will say yes, we need transport. They'll be pointed at a vehicle parked elsewhere to go and board. They go in there not knowing as to whether that car belongs to an e-hailing services or metered taxis.
Mall management now says plans were underway to engage e-hailing services.
Our stance as a mall has always been that we need to engage everyone. So the reality is this: I think everyone is aware, from e-hailing, taxis, and the community, plus the councillors that we have within, that we've always been engaging. This thing doesn't start now. We've been engaging since 2020. Even now, we're still engaging.
Mbalenhle Mthethwa, SABC News, Johannesburg.
The corruption case of former National Assembly Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula will continue on the 21st of November this year. The Gauteng High Court in Pretoria granted a postponement after her defense team requested more time to study the docket, which was only handed to them last week. Mapisa-Nqakula wants the bank records of the businesswoman she is accused of accepting bribes from in exchange for government tenders. According to her legal counsel, this will take weeks. Mapisa-Nqakula faces 12 counts of corruption and 1 of money laundering.
We have received the disclosure. We need to peruse the dockets, take instructions, and then there are further subpoenas that we need to issue for information, back statements. That'll take approximately 6 weeks to finalise. We would therefore request that the matter be postponed under your discretion until the 21st of November 2025 to finalise the pre-trial issues.
For that purpose, this matter is then adjourned to the 21st of November 2025. It's a provisional date.
Mzansi says it is not opposed to the expansion of the Government of National Unity. However, it says the coalition needs a reset to ensure its effective political management. Party leader Songezo Zibi made these remarks at a briefing where the party gave a status report of its first year in the executive and parliament. Mzansi received 0.42% of the vote share following the May 2024 general elections, resulting in 2 seats in Parliament and 1 seat in the Gauteng legislature.
Mzansi gave an account for its work in Parliament and in the Gauteng Provincial Government of Unity, as well as recent developments in the Government of National Unity, of which they form part. The recent ANC-NEC resolution, which proposes an expansion, has received some criticism from GNU partners like the DA and FF+. Mzansi, however, is not against this decision, but says the GNU needs to be strengthened first.
The expansion in and of itself, in principle, is not an issue. The lack of political management is a problem. The restructuring of the GNU is an important precursor to then having other parties.
Weighing in on the National Convention, Zibi differs with the view that the national dialogue is a waste of time.
The convention is not a waste of time. It's not a waste of time. I don't think we must get used to the idea. So I get a chance as an elected politician to debate every week in Parliament. South Africans only get to tweet or to post on Facebook and so on.
The Mzansi leader has called for the head of SANDF General Rudzani Maphwanya after the comments he made in Iran.
Pakistan and Ronald Lamula are busy trying to save South African jobs. The US and Iran are enemies. What does this general do? He goes there, he runs his mouth because he has no strategic awareness whatsoever, undermining the work that Pakistan and Ronald Lamula are doing.
Natasha Piri, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Welcome back. Let's shift gears to news further afield now. In Washington, United States President Donald Trump has just met with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelenskyy alongside key European leaders in a high-stakes diplomatic effort. The Trump administration is pushing to broker a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine, now entering the 4th year of a devastating war. Amongst his promises, Trump assured the end to the Russia-Ukraine war is within reach and further promised for yet another sit-down with Zelenskyy and other world leaders.
Vladimir Putin mentioned that the war will not end without addressing the root causes of this war. Have you had an understanding what are the root causes of this war?
Well, look, the war is going to end. When it ends, I can't tell you, but the war is going to end, and this gentleman wants it to end, and Vladimir Putin wants it to end. I think the whole world is tired of it, and we're going to get it ended. It was, I've done 6 wars. I've ended 6 wars, and I thought this maybe would be the easiest one, and it's not the easiest one.
Can you tell us about your conversations with European leaders and what they need to see to support an end to the war?
Yeah, well, we're going to be meeting with a great representative group and 7 very powerful, very big countries and great people, all friends of mine and friends of yours. And we're going to have some suggestions made. They want to see peace. They would like to see peace.
Last week, you warned of what you called severe consequences if a 30-day ceasefire or any type of ceasefire were not agreed to by Russia. Will there be severe consequences? Does that change because of
I don't think you need a ceasefire. You know, if you look at the 6 deals that I settled this year, they were all at war. I didn't do any ceasefires. And I know that it might be good to have, but I can also understand strategically why, one country or the other wouldn't want it.
The dispute over the final resting place of former Zambian President Edgar Lungu could be heading to the Constitutional Court as discussions between the Lungu family and the Zambian government have fallen flat. This comes after the High Court in Gauteng in Pretoria postponed Senadaye without a date, that is, the Lungu family's bid for leave to appeal the Supreme Court of Appeal, or SCA, by agreement between parties. The Lungu family has now turned to the Constitutional Court for direct appeal in their bid to overturn the full bench High Court judgment that found that the Zambian government is entitled to repatriate Lungu's remains for the purpose of a state funeral and burial.
Acting Deputy Judge President, as you would recall, on Friday when the matter was postponed, it was postponed on the basis that the parties were going to endeavor to resolve the matter, but they've not been able to do so. But what has happened is the family has since filed an application for leave for direct access in the Constitutional Court. And on those bases, the parties have agreed to allow the Constitutional Court process to unfold. And in the circumstances, we have agreed that by agreement between the parties that this application for leave to appeal be postponed sine die. And there's no mention insofar as the question of cost is concerned. I'm advised that the draft order which provides for this arrangement has been uploaded under pocket ZB01 on case lines. But there's just one typo there. It just fails to, there's an omission that it does not record that it was by agreement.
We are making the following order. By agreement, the application for leave to appeal is postponed sine die. No order as to costs.
Thank you for staying with us. Let's now continue with this. Police in KwaZulu-Natal have launched a manhunt for an unknown number of suspects following two separate cash and transit heists. The first incident occurred in Cortlands near Ndwendwe, north of Durban, while the other happened in Pietermaritzburg. Both incidents reportedly happened around the same time.
About 15 heavily armed men stormed this cash-in-transit vehicle in this secluded area north of Durban. They reportedly used explosives to set the vehicle alight. Police say the robbers disarmed security guards in the vehicle and took a rifle and a pistol before fleeing the scene.
The suspects made away with an undisclosed amount of money, but there were no injuries reported. So they do what they usually do, opening fire towards the vehicle until it went to a standstill, and then managed to accost the security guards, rob them of their firearms, then before they took the cash.
The road had to be closed for hours whilst police tried to clear the scene. Meanwhile, at around 9 in the morning, police were called to attend to a cash-in-transit robbery in Pietermaritzburg. The robbery was conducted by an unknown number of suspects. Police say the robbers stole an undisclosed amount of cash and fled the scene using separate getaway vehicles.
Multiple number of suspects accosted the CIT vehicle, robbed guards, and take the man. And like I'm saying, this is an organized crime and it's well orchestrated.
Last year, police recorded over 200 incidents of cash-in-transit heist nationally, with KwaZulu-Natal accounting for about 27% of those cases, followed by Gauteng at 25% and the Eastern Cape at about 21%. Simpiwe Makanya, SABC News.
The Eldorado Park parents accused of the murder and sexual assault of their 4-year-old daughter have abandoned their bail applications in the Protea Magistrates Court in Soweto. The father is accused of allegedly physically and sexually assaulting his daughter. He faces charges of murder, rape, compelled rape, assault, and child abuse. The mother is charged with failing to report the alleged sexual offences against her child. The little girl will be laid to rest tomorrow. The case has been postponed to the 9th of October for further investigation. The accused will remain behind bars. It's over to the weather desk for your latest weather forecast. Stick with us.
Thank you very much and a very warm welcome to the weather desk. Time for us to look at those conditions over the country. We're still expecting some rainy conditions as we move towards the interior of the Eastern Cape, stretching into parts of Free State. It is isolated showers and rain for tonight. For tomorrow, we see that cold front branching the southern parts of the country, dropping temperatures and also causing a 30% chance of showers and rain over the mother city and surrounding areas. Also still expecting those scattered showers, the isolated showers as we move towards the interior of KwaZulu-Natal, but moving towards Gauteng, Limpopo and Mpumalanga. It's just going to be a cloudy day for tomorrow. Overnight temperatures, it is mostly a cold night expected over Sunderland. We're expecting a low of -6, 0 over Calvinia, 9 over Johannesburg and Pretoria, 13 will be a low over Musina. Maximum temperatures for tomorrow, it is going to be a warm day as we move into Limpopo, especially over Palaboro. We're expecting a high of 30, 24 over Polokwane. Johannesburg peaking at 23. Dry conditions as we move towards the interior of the Northern Cape for tomorrow. It is going to be a warm day with a high of 25. Cool conditions with that cold front branching the southern parts of the country. 17 over Cape Town, 20 over George, Kabeja, and also over East London for tomorrow. And also we're still expecting some rainy conditions as we move into KwaZulu-Natal on Wednesday, but should be dry and clear as we move towards the central parts of the country on Wednesday. That's all the weather I have for you. Stay tuned.
We're going to have to park it here for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's meet again next time. For now, good night. God bless. Pula.